Hey there everybody, it's Nathan Cool with nathancoolphoto.com, and this video is all about how to raise your prices so that you can make more money as a photographer. And in particular, I'm going to be concentrating on real estate photography because that's the genre that I specialize in, but this does apply to almost any genre of photography. So photographers tend to have a reputation that they can be negotiated with because, well, everybody owns a camera, everybody owns a cell phone, they take great pictures, so if they're not willing to do it, then I'll bet you I can find someone else who will come at a lower price. There's also a quality consideration that comes into that, and so the biggest mistake that I see photographers make when they first start out is that they start negotiating price out of insecurity that they're not good enough. So I'm going to be covering some of that, also what it pertains to as you progress throughout your career, to discuss when it comes to raising prices, why you want to do it, when you want to do it, and then what's the safest way how to do that while maintaining loyal customers and while still be able to then make more money for the time that you are going to invest in your business. So let's get started with just a couple basics real quick. The one is that when you start getting negotiation requests from clients, they're saying, well, I can get you a lot of exposure, I can get you a lot of other work, and then so why don't you give me a discount? Well, the best way to negotiate a price is to not negotiate a price. It's really that simple. You come up with a price list just like a menu out of a restaurant, and you don't give discounts unless you have package deals that are published in that price list. Clients that are trying to negotiate your price down, those aren't the clients that you want to have for the long term. And remember, it's not about getting the gigs and just, I'm going to make a few $100s or whatever out of this gig. It's about getting clients, making tens of thousands of dollars over a span off of a client. So you want to find good clients. We used to say in the old days that it would be like feeding off the whale, is that it can be very hard to catch, but you eat for a lifetime. So remember, you're after clients, not gigs. So when it comes to negotiating price, just don't. You're going to end up with higher quality clients. The second basic, though, before getting into all the rest of it, is you have to start somewhere, and that's the chicken and egg paradox in any type of business. So new businesses open up and they'll have coupons and special discounts and things like that. When it comes to photography, though, you'll immediately get a reputation for being cheap or not being good and ready if you go into this venture not being prepared and also starting to negotiate your price. So one of the things that I talk about in the Business Techniques book is that you want to find a local lure. Someone who is local in your area, sells right in your neighborhood, perhaps even a friend who's in real estate or another genre of photography if you're in that can then give you some work. So you want to be able to find a real estate agent that sold something within just a few blocks of where your house is and just reach out to them and say, hey, I'm a real estate photographer and such, and I want to be able to do some work. The biggest mistake you can make, though, is trying to get more than one or two clients to start out. If you make an email blast to everybody, you're going to give a reputation that you're just not ready, and you're not going to be able to then stick to your prices because people are going to see a lower quality work. So those are some of the basics. Basically, you shouldn't be negotiating your pricing, and also make sure that you are ready to actually go out there and do this work. And once you are, then you're ready to start setting your prices, and then eventually you will need to start raising your prices. So let's get into that next. So let's talk about the why next, and that's really the most important thing. And it may seem obvious that, well, you want to make more money, but it's really not. The idea is that, yes, you will have incurring costs, cost of living and whatnot, that will progress every year, and you want to make more money. But at the same time, also, there's other factors involved with that. So you do want to be able to have fewer gigs, for one thing. I'd rather, for instance, shoot one $500 gig a day than have to run around to 5 houses for $100. So you want to be able to have good clients, good type of work that reduces the amount of workload you have, and that you can then make the same or more money from that. Also along those lines is that raising your prices doesn't mean that you have to now stay the same as your competitors. I charge more than competitors in my area, but that's also because I feel confident in the work that I provide so that I can get clients, and of course I still stick to my prices. I won't lower them just because they might find a lower priced photographer in the area. So that's an important thing to bear in mind, is that the why when it comes to increasing your prices is to make sure that you know your worth so that you can charge what you are worth. And that's an important thing. And so as time goes on, those are things that I'll cover also in the next couple items here. But there's also an important thing here, and that's that two things are going to happen in your career. One, you're not going to get busy enough and something else is wrong. If you're priced competitively and you're not getting the gigs, we need to talk about that separately, another video, and I've got other ones online here that might be able to help. But one of the important things is that when you start getting busy, because once you've ramped up and you are good, you will get work as a real estate photographer. If you're a wedding photographer and you do good work, no matter what you charge, you're going to get a lot of calls. So once that starts happening, you have to be able to provide work for your loyal customers, as well as new clients that could also become new loyal clients. And that's something that I call price throttling. And it's something also in the Biz Tech book. But this is where if you're charging, let's say $200 for a basic real estate photography shoot, you're booked to the hilt now, and you just can't fit in any other clients. That's the time when you raise your prices, maybe up to $225 or $250 or something like that. So that's when we get into another whole topic here, and let's talk about that next. So when you raise your prices, price throttling is one of those issues. It's a supply and demand thing, but it's also not a price gouging thing. If you are really getting busy, that means that you have value. So yes, that's the point where you can charge more than your competitors. Why not? Now, you have to think though, is that during that time of raising your prices, do you want to raise prices on existing clients or raise prices across the board so that also the new clients are just new clients? So one of the best pieces of advice I feel that I can give on that is that you need to find a middle ground, but always concentrate on your client loyalty. Remember, it's clients, not gigs that you're after. So you can find that, you're getting a particular client gives you 4 or 5 houses to shoot every month. Maybe even more than that. But they're a really good client, and so they give you a steady revenue stream. That might not be the client that you want to raise your prices on, but as soon as you get a new request for quote from a potentially new client, absolutely show them your new price list. Once again, we've already covered the kind of the why, and now the when is yes, you are busy, you have worth, you know that your photography is good and that you can charge more for it. So anybody new coming on should be paying for that. There's always middle ground on that where you can say to existing clients, well, yes, I am going to be raising my prices. You give them advance notice, like a month or something like that, but tell them that you'll still cut them a deal. So there was, interestingly enough, I had a couple clients that came to me after their photographers raised their prices. And you may think, well, wow, they came to you because you were cheaper. No, they came to me priced the same as what they raised their prices to, but the fact is that they got no advance notice and they really didn't get a good reason why they raised their rates. And this is critical when you're going to be raising your rates. You have to explain and justify that to your clients. In one case, there was an existing photographer who raised his rates on what is now my client because he told him, well, I'm going to be buying a house soon. I need more money for the down payment. That has nothing to do with your business because it has nothing to do with your clients. If you want to buy a house, you want to buy a new car, something like that, that's on you. That's not on your clients. So reasons to raise your rates, though, to be able to explain to them is cost of living has gone up, gasoline prices, cost of my car insurance, the camera gear that I have, all of my overhead, all my cost of living has gone up, and I haven't raised my rates for 5 years, so I have to do that. That's how you explain it to existing clients. New clients, there is no explanation involved at all. You have a set price, and once again, as I said right from the get-go out of this video, you don't negotiate price. So let's talk about the next aspect of that, and that's the how you might want to go about raising your rates. So how to raise your rates is actually very simple, but it has to be done cautiously. So I do not recommend having just a PDF file or especially printed material with your price list, because someone could be holding on to that from 2 or 3 years ago and have a false expectation when they reach out to see about getting work for you. So the best alternative I like to recommend is you have it on a web page. I don't recommend necessarily listing that on your web page, but it is public, so you just don't have a direct link to it, but you can share that link with then any client. They're wondering about your prices, you can just send them a text to that URL, they can open it up. That allows you to change those prices at any time. It's a completely dynamic price list then that is constantly refreshed. So at any time somebody wants to see your latest price lists, if they have that link to it, they just go there, they see what your prices are right then and there. So that's really good for especially new clients. For existing clients, if you are going to raise their rates, you can send that link to them. But once again, like I said, you want to go after the client loyalty. By showing them that you're willing to give them a break on the raised rates, that's a great way to go if you are going to raise those. You can share that link with them as well and say, yes, I'm going to be raising my rates. These are the reasons why, but I'm still going to give you a discount no matter what. Another thing to consider too when you're raising your rates is to consider an expansion of your business. So if you're only doing photography right now, you might want to think about also doing video, doing virtual tours, something else that you can then package into your price so that you can overall then start making more money. Then the entire level of effort is calculated into that particular package deal. Also with that, as you provide new services, you can charge more for them. Go to a restaurant now, order a burger or something else, and then order an iced tea. It'll come out to $3 or $4 a lot of times just for a drink, for a soda or an iced tea or something that should cost about 10 cents. It's sometimes those add-ons where you can also make more money. So how do you make more money overall in your photography business? It isn't always the number of gigs that you get, it's what you charge for the work that you can provide. And being diversified with these other options of doing video, virtual tours, things like that, yes, you can make more money with that. But never feel insecure. If you know that your work is good, then you should be paid for it. And there are people that are out there willing to pay for that. You can't group together all realtors or all clients and say that they're all cheap. That just isn't the case. I can tell you right offhand that the quality agents that have been in business long enough, that get good quality clients, they know good quality vendors, and that's you. Just be very confident with the work that you do. Don't be afraid to raise your prices. Know when to do it and how to do it by still gaining your client loyalty. Anyways, I hope this video was useful for you and that you can apply some of this in your photography business as well. If you did like this video and you want to see more, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. It won't cost anything, and as soon as one of these videos is posted, you'll be the first to know. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, take care, be safe, and get out there and shoot something.